Today in this tutorial, we're going to be looking at the Excel function which calculates frequency. If you had to do like a frequency table. Now let's look at the information we have. We have this set of data here, which is a bunch of raw data, and we are hoping to calculate the frequency as well as the cumulative frequency. Now we have predetermined that we're going to use 9 bins. And how did I arrive at these numbers here? How did I know how to divide the range of numbers into appropriate sized bins? Now, some basic information that will help with that. If you calculate the minimum number in the range by using the min function in Excel, and then you calculate the maximum number by using the max number in Excel, that tells you the size range that you're going to have to cover if you take away the min from the max. So we have to cover 36. So what's a good size to use if we wanted to use 9 bins? You divide the range by 9 and you get that each bin size must be 4. That way we are dividing the range into 9 segments and we get a whole number here. Typically if you did this, let's just say for argument's sake you had decided on 10 bins instead of 9, then you would end up with 3.6, and you don't want to work necessarily with that. So you could work with smaller numbers than 3.6. You may end up with more bins than the desired, but you don't want to use a number that's difficult to work with for your bin size. It's just gonna be problematic. You can do it, but it's just gonna be more difficult to display. So here it automatically populates the first bin goes from 0 to 4 because the minimum is 4 and the size is 4. Then the next one goes from 5 to 8, 9 to 12, and notice there's no overlap. Now the bins which is required here, you're gonna put the end of the first bin is 4. That's a cutoff point, which is the minimum plus the size of each bin, and then here you're adding the size of the bin to the previous range, previous upper limit for the previous bin. So the first bin goes from 0 to 4, the next bin goes 4 more than 4, which is 8, the next bin goes 4 more than 8, which is 12, and it continues like that. Now the function we want to look at is going to calculate the frequency. So it's just going to automatically check how many numbers in this range here falls within the bin that is dictated by the value here. So it's going to go all the way up to 4, then it's going to use the next frequency. It's going to give us how many numbers fall between the end of the last bin and the start of the next one. So let's go ahead and do that. And the steps are here, and it has one significant difference in that you're working with an array. It's an array function. It's calculating a whole range of data at the same time, as opposed to the typical function like the minimum function here, which calculated one cell. So let's look at the steps. You highlight the target cell where the frequency will be populated to. So I have created my table. I want the frequency to go in the yellow section, so I highlight that. Once you've highlighted that, then you're going to start typing the Excel function, and what you're telling Excel is that you're going to put this in the whole array that I have highlighted. Double click on frequency, then it tells you what the inputs are. The first input is the data array. So where is the data? The data is right here. Now be careful not to include the title. It doesn't give you that option to include the title. Then the next input is going to be the bin array, which is in this cell here. and then you close the bracket. Now, importantly, once you've done that, you typically would hit the enter key to calculate what you just typed. But in this particular array function, and it's written in step 4 right here, instead of hitting just the enter key, you're gonna hit Control Shift and enter all at the same time. And then what Excel does, it knows that, hey, I'm calculating for an entire array. So what it's saying is that between 0 and 4, there are 3 entries in this data set. Between 5 and 8, there are 6 entries, and so on and so forth. And it's live in that if you go into the data set and change this 0, which would be in this range, to a 5, which is going to move it to this range, it will automatically change this 3 down to a 2 and the 6 up to a 7. So it is live. So if you end up making changes to it, it calculates it automatically. Now you can then proceed to do a plot that shows frequency and cumulative frequency and all that good stuff. If you wanted to do a histogram, so it's totally up to you how you can process this data. But the essence of this session was to show you how we calculate frequency using the Excel's frequency function. All right, so I will probably have another session that shows how to do frequency tables and frequency histograms and all that good stuff. All right, so thank you.